Okay, this is example one, actually checkpoint one, on page 97 of your book. And this is the Venn diagram that they provided, and they have a list of questions, so we're going to go ahead and practice those. And the problem says, in a survey on musical tastes, respondents were asked, do you listen to classical music or do you listen to jazz? And the survey results are summarized right in this Venn diagram. Again, this is all in your book if you'd like to read it. Use the diagram, obviously the Venn diagram, to answer the following questions. Okay, since we're going to answer questions about these sets, let's make sure we understand what sets we're actually talking about. So we're talking about these two sets, and I would start out by maybe defining your sets. So maybe, let C be the set, right, of people, right, that listen to, right, classical music. Right, you want to make sure you're understanding all this instead of just writing, a bunch of symbols. And then similarly, right, maybe J for jazz, right? This is the set of people that listen to jazz music. Right, so here is our C and here is our J. And again, this is very helpful in your exam. This tells me that you understand what your sets represent. Again, if you like partial credit, if you're not worried about it, then that's, it's your choice. Okay, so let's go ahead and start the first problem. And the first question says, in your book, how many respondents listened to jazz music? So we're looking for the number, right, of students, or not students, or a number of respondents. They could be students that listen to classical music. The number, okay, that is their cardinality is implied here. So the number, so the cardinality of, and I called my set C, right? I think it asked for, yep, classical music is, well, that's just going to be, right, everybody in here, well, 55 people plus 20 people. Whoops, 55 plus 20, right? So that's just 75 people listen to classical music. Now, these guys listen to classical music, right? They also listen to jazz, but the problem's just asking who listens to classical music. You can listen to more than one. And so 75 people listen to classical music. Okay, so let's try part B. And B says, how many respondents listened to jazz? Okay, so that's going to be, I labeled it J, so N of J. Well, how many people listen to jazz? How many? The number? Well, that would be everybody in this circle, so that would be 20 plus 70. So 20 plus 70 gives me 90. So notice this is just basic arithmetic, okay? This is not hard math. The goal of this problem is that you know how to read a Venn diagram, because this is going to be very important in your math and society class and statistics. These are just nice diagrams, a good way of organizing information. So again, here's a notation, right? Basic arithmetic. And again, I would even write this part instead of just 75, because if you write, I don't know, 80, for example, on your exam, well, where did you get the 80 from? 80 is obviously not the answer. Okay, so let's try C. And C says, how many respondents listen to both classical music and jazz music? Okay, so both, right? You can listen to classical and jazz, right? But you can like both. There's nothing wrong with that. So I'm going to say N of C intersection, or if you wanted to literally write and, that's fine. Okay, so if you wanted to write, let's go ahead and write it out. N of, right, classical, right, or you can actually write the word classical, and jazz, right? That's what's common to both sets, right? How many people will listen to both classical and jazz? It's just that region. So that is number 20. Well, it's just 20 people, so you can just say 20. So that's just really just reading the graph. There's no addition there. So I'm going to go ahead and stop. Well, actually, let me just do one more and then I'll, just so the video won't get too long. Let's see, I'm at 5 minutes. Okay, D. D is how many respondents listen to classical music or jazz music. Okay, keyword or. So the number of people who listen to classical music or jazz. Okay, so N of, again, if you want to write or, that's perfectly fine. Well, what does or mean? Well, that's all the elements, right, in our universal set that are in one set or the other set. That is, we're interested in finding the number of people who like classical music or so who like classical music only, or who like jazz music only, or who like both. Okay, so that's just the addition, right, of these guys, right? This region, and this region. So it's 55 plus 20 plus 70. So that's 55 plus 20 plus 70, 90, 50, so 145. So 145 people like classical or jazz music. Okay, so I'm going to stop here and then I'm going to continue this example in the next video.